bit different than what you normally see me do. And I just want to say thanks for taking time out of your day to check this video out. I really appreciate it. And as always, like that video. But let's get started with this. As you can see, I've already opened this package. I couldn't wait. And actually, honestly, I got this about a week and a half ago, but some other circumstances presented in my life where I didn't have an opportunity to do an immediate unboxing. So you've actually seen me throwing some of these items already in videos. I used these on Onondaga, and I did throw these as well during my Harvey's Lake tournament video. I'm not sure which order these videos are going to go up because I'm currently editing some of them, but let's just dive right into this. What I got here was a box of jigs, basically. Came from a great guy up north. His name's Josh. He runs SinkeR Swim Tackle. And basically what he does is he modified his own jigs, and he ties his own jigs, basically. Skirts for the jigs. He does like a skirted jig. He does finesse swim bait heads, fish heads, football heads, and we're basically going to cover them because this isn't a sponsored video by Josh. He's not paying me to say anything or anything of that nature. This is just my review of these jigs. He sent me a box, wanted me to take a peek at them and use them, see what I thought of them, and honestly, these are great. I hope you like them as much, and just before we even get started, if you mention my channel, he'll hook you up. So just let him know that you saw this review or anything like that, and he'll get you a good deal. But let's dive right into this here. Now really what I specifically like about these products are the custom skirted jigs. So I want to get to those last. I want to save those because I like to talk about them. And what I want to cover is a few other things that he does. 2-aught tube hooks. It's a short shank hook made with owner hooks. And I mean, realistically, it's for those smaller tubes, your 3-inch, 2.5-inch tubes. I think that's phenomenal because you can get them in a better weight, something like that. I mean, you're getting 3/8, ½ ounce. If you want to fish deep water smallies, that's what you want to do, especially if you're looking to try to mimic those gobies, those small profile baits. It's a small tube head, a short shank hook. It's not hanging way out the back like some of the other companies that you see. I really appreciate that and that style of hook. And I like owner. I like the fact that he uses owner. And it realistically is just one of the best hooks on the market in my opinion. Top producing hooks are owner and must-add in my mind, and that's specifically what he's using here. Next thing is like a fish head or a swim head style. He calls it a shad head, I believe. Another great product, different than the finesse style head. The finesse head is rounded off in the front. I like using this for like your 2/8 Kitex. It fits a 2/8 Kitex perfect, or a 3/3. Fishing deeper water again, smallmouth, finesse style fishing. The fish head, I think he makes these up to like 3/4 ounce. These things will get deep quick. If you're fishing 40, 50 feet of water, Ontario, St. Lawrence River style, trying to get down there deep and get to the bottom fast, that's what you're looking for. These fish head styles are going to work really well. They cut through the water a little bit better than these finesse style. The finesse style is great, and it's probably my go-to. You've actually seen me throwing it quite a bit. I like it a lot, but it doesn't cut through as well. So then in the wind and like high wind situations, you want to go to this fish head style. I really do like that a lot better if I'm trying to get down deeper quicker. Now these shad style heads I was most recently using on Onondaga Lake in upstate New York, which is why you're going to see that I have the Pro Special Kitex on it. Now this is a 3/3, I believe, but you can see that this is perfectly set up for the 3/3. It comes right to the middle of the back. It's a really nice design. I like to use a dab of super glue, you're going to see that, but that's just so that this bait doesn't pull off. If you use Kitex, you know that Kitex swim baits are super soft and they'll pull off and they'll rip all the time. So if you hit a dab of super glue on the tip of this, it's going to hold it on there for a lot longer. You're going to get 5 or 6 fish out of it instead of 1, maybe 2 if you're lucky. And with that fish head swim that I was talking about, same situation, I super glue them on. This again is a 3/3, but you can see that this hook is specifically made to handle these 2/8 or 3/3 Kitex. This hook basically comes out perfectly on this body of this bait. And again, this is that owner hook. I think I probably can get this to even hold on to my skin, mostly, even with the swim bait on it. And this is a 1/2 ounce head. I was fishing 32 foot of water when I was throwing this, so I was really trying to get it down there relatively quickly. So you can tell that these baits really are perfectly set up. The hooks are perfectly designed to hold these specific size baits. Talking that 3.3 and that 2.8 Kitech. It really is just a perfect design, and he has it custom made so that he can basically always have that perfect hook set. Josh is pouring finesse shaky heads. I mean, shaky head is what it is. You know what this is. You're tying a worm on, you're dragging the bottom, you're hitting a rock, you're wiggling a little bit. These are poured with mustad hooks. Again, another top name in hooks. So I really do like these as well. Just your standard shaky head jig, but really work well, get a nice hook up. You'll see these used probably in a close upcoming video here. I've actually thrown them one time on our local lake at the Harvey's tournament for a little bit. Haven't had any luck, but it just wasn't a shaky head style day. I know they will work eventually. We have an upcoming tournament on State Park. It may be out before or after this video, but you will see those being used there probably. I'll probably have a lot more time of dragging a worm around. They just work well. They get worms to come through weeds pretty easy. If you bump into something, you can wiggle it, get the tail bouncing. A lot of times you'll find your fish pick them up then. I think this next item is something that you guys are really gonna like. I actually want to pull this out too. This is just it's a non-skirted football head jig. But what we're doing with this is, again, it's that short shank hook. I hope that shows up there real well. But what we're having is a 2-aught owner hook in here. And this is made to fit a 2.8 or a 3.3 Kitech. And realistically, I like that small profile. It'll also fit like a Baby Menace or a Rage Menace, Baby Rage Menace, the smaller profile crawfish style baits. But realistically, I like this to mimic a goby. It'll even hold like your X-Zones or your Gajo Spirit Shads, that style company. But it's gonna bust up a little bit. This is a little bit of a juicy weed or hook on there to actually physically hold like a bait keeper there. But so it might bust your bait up a little bit. But again, up in your Finger Lakes, Oneida, Ontario, the St. Lawrence, you're going to have the opportunity to drag a little Kitech, goby style representation baits, anything like that. You're going to be able to drag those little crawfish. And what this is going to do is every time it touches something, it's going to wobble. And as it goes, it just looks like it's a goby scurrying on the bottom. And you get that opportunity to bounce around and just mimic those crayfish even. You jump this, it's going to bounce up like it's a crayfish fleeing. So you have that opportunity to just drag this as slow as you want, and eventually something's going to pick it up. It's just a great head. I like the fact that, again, it's an owner hook, it's a short shank hook, and it's sticky sharp. I bet you I can get this to just sit on my skin, because it typically will. I mean, that's sticky sharp. Now, in the terms of skirted jigs, I mean, we all know what this package is. It's probably the gold standard of skirted jigs. If you are throwing a jig, you've heard of Kitech. It's got to be the #1 jig in the market if I had to take a guess. I would be impressed if it's not. They're made of tungsten. They're a great product. The thing is with these Kitech, I do like them, and this is the only thing I was throwing prior to getting these SinkeR swim jigs. Like, I wasn't ever throwing anything else. I was just gonna throw a Kitech, and that was gonna be the end of it, because it's just such a good jig. And it is a good jig. It's a gold standard of jig, I think. My problems with these Kitech are they have a pretty weak weed guard. They tend to get hung up a lot. Even though they are a small tungsten jig, which is basically half the size of lead, they're also a very finessey style hook, and just a very weak weed guard. That's really my biggest complaints. I've actually broke off more of these Kitech hooks than I would like to admit. Probably more than I've just lost getting hung up. But just a finesse style hook and a small light weed guard. Now they are on the football head and they do make the casting jig. We've all seen it. It's kind of like the swim style jig head. And that's what I really wanted to talk about with these. Couple different things with Josh's jigs. Immediately, first thing you're going to notice is that this jig is standing out. Look at this in terms of the skirt. As soon as it hits the ground, there's no comparison with Kitech. Kitech's a good jig and I like them, but realistically, it just falls flat compared to this skirt. Look at this thing. Black and blue, both black and blue. Good comparison between the two. I do like both these jigs a lot. But this one just stands out. Like it's a puffy style jig. The skirt's nice. The design on it's great. And what you're going to notice immediately is, if I can get this skirt to even stay away from it long enough to show you, is it's a brush style jig head. So this thing's going to come through everything. You have a heavy duty weed guard, so it's almost impossible to get this thing hung up. I was just on Onondaga in upstate New York. I was flipping into the trees in the river, and honestly, just throwing this in the trees, unless you set set the hook into the tree yourself. Like if you knowingly set this hook into the tree, you're not getting this hung up otherwise. It comes through. It's again mimics that small hook, but it's beefier. Again, I don't know if you can see that as well, but man, same style. It's a mustad hook, beefier hook, same size though. You're still looking at that 2-aught hook. This has been custom molded to hold a 2-aught hook in it in this brush style head. So you're not basically when the bass eats it, they eat it head first. Then you set the hook and it pulls out. So on those big jigs with the big hook on the back, basically this weight hits their mouth, knocks their mouth open, and then you miss the hook. So with this short shank hook, you're almost guaranteeing it to be, as it turns around coming out their mouth, it's going to get them in the lip every time. I've had some pretty decent success on it so far. I've only got to throw it on 2 tournaments, and they were just rough, high water conditions. So I haven't got to use this and beat the paint off them like I want to. But I do think that they are going to hold up really well. And they just sit really nicely. You're going to see he makes a bunch of different colors, and I'll show them here for you. But makes a ton of different colors. There's a few that I really, really like, and that happens to be the black and blue. I really like the brown. I also really like the green pumpkin and blue flake. That's similar to another Kitech color as well. And there's a brown as well as a dark green pumpkin. They are different. And then there's just your green pumpkin. So you'll see that there's a couple different variations in there. But the one I want to talk most about is actually on my line. I haven't removed it yet because I'm waiting for this thing to just pay dividends in dirty water. This jig here is his Bama bug, and honestly you can actually see with the head, the head's painted purple with green flake in it. So this is even a custom painted head after it's dried on there. What I currently have on here, this is Bama Craw, Bama bug. It is green pumpkin, purple, and like that bluish turquoise flake. I've been throwing it with this June bug Kitech. It's a newer color of this is a 3.3 June bug Kitech. This thing swims incredible. I've been dragging it around for a while now, and I have yet to really get to pound some fish on this. But man, I know this is gonna play off pretty soon here. Again, Lackawanna State Park is our next tournament up, and it is a tournament that is just a muddy water. It's a 15-inch limit. And dark, deep colored water. June bug and your purples, your blacks, your blues usually pay off pretty well in those stained water conditions. And that's what I know we're getting into here pretty soon. So I really do like this. One last one that I have actually tied on right now is the green pumpkin orange. This thing mimics a perch or like a crayfish so well. And what I did was I threw a crazy flapper, like an Alabama Cross style crazy flapper by Kitech on there. And then what I did was I dipped the flanges or the tails here, the pinchers at the end, I dipped them in orange dip and dye because I just wanted this thing to stand out. Onondaga was muddy, Onondaga was flooded, she was swollen, and you know what? I wanted this sucker to stand out. It did end up putting our 5th fish in the boat. You'll probably get to see that. But I mean, honestly, this was it's one of my favorite baits in this color pattern. I like that green pumpkin, or the Bama Craw, Bama Bug as well. I think that's a great color. This pattern right here is really the way to go if you're trying to mimic a crawfish or if you're trying to mimic a perch. I like this style for a perch. If I was trying to go perch more, I'd probably throw a Kitech Pro Special on the back of it versus a crayfish style bait. The Pro Special is the green bait with the orange bottom. But, I mean, this, you can't go wrong dragging this around through the weeds. Like I said, the weed guard's so stiff on this that you don't have any problem. It doesn't pick up weeds very well. It comes through trees, rocks. I had no problem with hang up. I got everything back that did get snagged in between some rocks, got wedged in between some rocks. I walked over, popped it once. Some of them I didn't even have to. I was able to just snap it free and throw some slack in the line. So realistically, this is one of those jigs where you're going to buy a few and not have to actually keep rebuying them. It's not like Kitech where like I said, I love them. I'm not trashing Kitech. I really like Kitech. It's what I've thrown forever. But they get hung up a ton. If you don't have a lure retriever, if you don't send down a weight and try to bash it off, you just lose a lot. Whereas with these, I'm throwing them into the trees. I'm not concerned about them. I'm just knowing they're going to come out. And when I'm dragging across rocks, if they do kind of get forced and wedged in between the rock, I'm typically able to just throw some slack in the line and pop it out. It'll naturally pop out itself. I haven't lost one yet, and I've been throwing it for 4 tournaments. So, I mean, it's been a really good bait. I really appreciate the head on it. I like that brush style head. I feel like that's the best of both worlds. And I think the most important thing is that this bait stands up no matter what. Let me get you a better look at that. I hope you can see this real well here, but this bait you physically can't keep down. It naturally immediately pops back up. Whereas with your Kitech's going to kind of fall flat. Again, I'm not bashing Kitech. I really like Kitech. It's one of my favorite jigs. And when they're on it, they're on it. But look at how it stands differently. This will physically stand itself right back up under most case scenarios. If it falls on its side, you're just going to drag it a little bit. It's going to pop back up. Whereas the Kitech kind of just falls flat. And I do like them. Like I said, I think they are the gold standard in jigs. I just think, look at the skirt on this jig. When it's sitting down, I don't think there's anything that compares to it. It just stands up, hooks right up. I don't think there's any comparison. Alright guys, so like I said, this review was for SinkeR Swim Tackle LLC. Owner's name is Josh. He 100% hand pours all of these. He does all the skirted jigs himself, all the colors. You can check out his Facebook below. I'll leave it in the description. And like I said to you earlier, I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to watch this video. And if you can, holler at Josh, let him know I sent you, and mention the channel, and he'll give you a pretty good deal on these. They are a good jig. I like them a lot. And like I said, this isn't a promo video. This isn't a sponsored video. Josh didn't pay me money to say this was good. I'm not important enough to say this is any good. This is just a true life, actual real life review of SinkeR Swim Tackle. I like this guy. He's real nice. We spoke a bunch of times. I really like him. Like, he's a stand-up gentleman who actually puts work into making these jigs. It's not some big company that's just rolling as many as they can off the line and slapping Strike King or some label on it. This is a handmade company, so I really would appreciate it if you take an opportunity and go check them out. And otherwise, just thumbs up this video if you can, share it, and subscribe to the channel down below. And otherwise, just roll that music.